What's up guys, welcome back to the Piston Show. I'm Keshi Dylan. Today we have here with us the new Kia Sportage. This is the 1.6 litre turbocharged variant. This is essentially the flagship variant and it costs just under 188,000 ringgit. And in typical Kia fashion, it's quite a looker. If you remember, maybe about 15-18 years ago when the Sportage was introduced to the Malaysian market, it totally shook up the market because it offered everything that you would want in an SUV. It was big, it had all the features, it basically was a stunner. And now with the latest variant, you have all of that again. So in this video, I'm going to tell you everything there is to know about the new Kia Sportage 1.6 litre turbocharged variant. When it comes to design, I always like to say that it's very subjective. Some like one thing, the others might not like it. So I really don't like to touch on the subject of design. It's very subjective, as I said. But there's no denying the fact that the new Sportage is quite a good-looking machine. It's so extravagant, and yet at the same time, you go like, wow, that's actually not bad. I really like how they've introduced this boomerang daytime running light over there, and it's just sort of jived with the overall character of the Sportage. At the same time, it runs on 18-inch wheels. Of course, these wheels, they're not exactly outlandish as with the rest of the car. It's a very safe design, and from the side over here, it's typical SUV lah. It's big, doesn't do much to hide its bulk, the works, right? And over here, you get this piece of aluminium look-alike with this design features and such. From the back though, it's a very safe design. Again, you get LED lights, and then at the same time, you get a very usable boot size. And the one thing that I really like is that you get a tonneau cover and a spare wheel. Now, a lot of cars out there, they don't really offer you a spare wheel anymore. Maybe they give you a tire repair kit and such. So a spare wheel is becoming it's a rare thing these days. So that's something that I think you should look out for as well as a usable boot space. Now we jump inside. The interior of the Sportage, well, it's as straightforward as it looks. It doesn't try very hard to be complicated. And these days, even buttons are becoming even more rare because of what we are getting from China. With China, everything is placed in one big screen, and it's just behind multiple layers of menu. Everything that you want to, even sometimes the air conditioning controls, you have to go through multiple layers of menu just to adjust the temperature, the blower settings and such. But over here, it's just located over here. So adjusting the air conditioning is quite straightforward. The other thing that I like is that you get wireless Apple CarPlay as well, and you also get Android Auto. So that just makes life behind the wheel a lot more pleasant. And the thing about the Kia Sportage, as well as other models from Kia these days, is that they're very family friendly. You get stuff like quiet mode. Now this is important because you press on this, and whatever music that you're listening to will only be played back through the speakers at the front of the cabin, not from the rear. And this is good because if your kids are sleeping at the back, they won't be disturbed. So this is how family friendly Kia cars have become. Besides that, comfort levels are top notch as well. Check out the seats. These are electronically adjustable. And then over here, well, I'm not really a fan of this gloss black finishing. Nothing's wrong with it, but this is just a personal opinion because it picks up on all this dust and all. But it's not just Kia. There's a lot of other car variants, particularly from Honda, some stuff from Mazda, Toyotas as well. They love, even Mercedes-Benz for that matter, they love to use this gloss black finishing. For me, I think it just highlights all the dust and such. So that's just a personal opinion. I know the cars are selling well, so it's just me. Besides that, you get a electronic gear selector. This is quite cool. You just reverse it, you just rotate it in that sense. Now I find this to be quite interesting because I find it to be better than what you get from for example, the Haval 86. The Haval 86, the gear selector just perpetually rotates in like a infinity style. So if you want to go to R, for example, you just rotate it, like it just doesn't stop. There's no ending to it. So, but with this, I like this because it just, you turn it to the left and it comes back to the center. And it's the same with the neutral, you just turn it a bit. Drive, you just turn it to a bit, it comes back to center. And I like that about this gear selector. Besides, right under this though is the drive mode, and this too comes back to the center. So if you rotate this, you get different drive modes. You get eco, normal, sport and smart. So what smart does is it basically studies your driving pattern and adjusts the car accordingly. So in that sense, I think it's quite good. You also get a really clear camera. Check out the clarity of the camera here. So it's quite good in that sense. I think a lot of the other Japanese car makers can learn something from this. Some of the cameras that we get from the other car makers, it's just looks like it belongs in a car about 15 years ago. So that's quite good. I think it makes living with the car a lot simpler. The other thing that I like, and I'm quite eager to show you, is this. See, I gave my right hand signal and it shows me what's on the right of the car because there's a camera placed in the side view mirror over there, and the same happens for the left hand turn signal as well. So this is quite brilliant. Now the Kia Sportage is the only C segment SUV that comes with this, and it really makes your life behind the wheel a lot safer and better because you don't have to be looking around over your shoulder just to ensure that there's no car or bike over there. The other thing that you need to know is the simplicity of the software. Now, I'm calling out the Chinese car makers over here because some of their software is just incredibly messy. Some of them is just, it just doesn't make sense in terms of ergonomic and in terms of being friendly to use. This is quite straightforward. Everything is exactly where you expect it to be. Settings, everything is just located over here. Now, vehicle settings gives you everything from your driver assistance and such. It's very straightforward stuff. But for example, like in the Omoda C9, it's a D segment SUV, I know, but it's roughly about the same price as the Sportage. But the software in that car it takes some getting used to. The learning curve for the software in the Omoda C9 is quite steep. Not here in the Sportage. This is quite straightforward, and I appreciate that because you don't really need a lot of time to memorize where everything is. So I appreciate stuff, little things like this. Now, in terms of sitting position, it's spot on. You also get pedal shifters, which gives you a little bit more control over the car, and everything is just exactly where you want it to be. So in terms of layout, in terms of software, sitting position, comfort, even space, spot on. For the back seat, it's brilliant as well. I mean, you get a lot of leg space, a lot of headroom, you get a big glass over here which lets in plenty of light, and it doesn't lack in anything. In fact, it over delivers. You get two USB ports. One's cleverly located over here, and one for the passenger as well. And you get this teh tarik hook. This is something that we in the industry call the teh tarik hook. And this is actually quite important because when you go tapao something, your biryani, chicken rice, whatever, this actually makes life a lot easier. So you don't really have to put your food on the floor. You should never do that. So this is actually quite good. I think, if I'm not mistaken, among the C segment SUV, the Kia Sportage is the only one that comes with this. Of course, you get twin air conditioning vents, you get some storage space over here, very easy to live with. And the other thing that I need to highlight, and why I mean that Kia has over-delivered, is this little notch over here. Doesn't seem like it's anything, but when you have kids, guys, this is fantastic. Of course, my phone is a little bit too small. If you have an iPad, you can just place your iPad here, You can place it this way, and this just, oh, you have no idea the benefits this has on ensuring that your long distance drives are without the kids screaming away. So this is actually quite good. Besides that, you get 2 cup holders here, and guess what? This backrest reclines as well. So in terms of, oh, it's been such a long day. So in terms of being comfortable, Kia Sportage, man. See what I mean by over-delivering? Powering the Sportage is a 1.6 litre turbocharged engine making 179 PS and 265 Newton meters of torque. Now this is a smooth operator, even though it offers decent power, but the way it delivers that power is quite impressive. It's very linear in its power delivery. It comes with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission as well. And I really like the way it delivers power. It's not very dramatic, and I think Kia has absolutely nailed how power is delivered. Now, it doesn't matter whether in normal mode, sport mode, eco mode, you're never starved for power. That's one thing that I appreciate about this engine. To driving the Kia Sportage, you know what I like most about it? I like the fact that it's just so simple, straightforward, no dramas. I'm doing about 110 kilometers per hour. There's no wind noise that you sometimes get that intrudes back into the cabin. I know some of the competitors from this segment, I can't remember which one was it. I think it was the Tiggo 7 or something. It was one of those Chinese cars that above 110, about 120, 130, you get some wind noise that intrudes back into the cabin from this C-pillar here. And you don't get any of that with the Kia Sportage. It doesn't try very hard to impress you, but yet at the same time it does. It doesn't use double glazed windows, and yet at the same time refinement is brilliant. It uses great multi-link suspension that does a fantastic job at soaking everything up, and yet at the same time it is firm, which gives you great handling. I like these little things about the Kia Sportage, and that, my friends, is just testament to how far Kia as a car maker has come. The thing about newer car models is that, or car brands, is that they take very long to actually refine their suspension feel, the way the car drives and such. But here in the Sportage, the steering wheel is nice and connected. It's chatty. It just moves, just telling you everything that is going on with the road. I mean, it's not physically moving, but you can feel it. You can feel what's going on with the road, and I appreciate that because I feel very connected to the car, and yet at the same time you don't get vibrations on the floor, you don't get all of that. So in terms of driving the Sportage, I think it's fantastic. You know what really matters to me as well, especially in this day and age with so many car brands out there, is little things like having your air conditioning controls just nicely laid out right here. You're feeling warm? Just touch this. One step. There's no 2-step, 3-step going through menus. Where the hell is this? Where the hell is that? There's none of that. And I like that. It's just very straightforward stuff. And we have taken it for granted. If you're only just going to be driving a couple of cars, then maybe you may not understand this, but never underestimate the importance of properly laid out controls. Even the software matters. It's just, I want to launch Apple CarPlay, just one button. It's simple stuff like that makes you feel safe, makes you feel comfortable interacting with the car. And boy, I really like the fact that those onboard cameras show me what's on the right and what's on the left of the car. These are little things that matter. And what gets me is that no other car maker has thought of this except for Kia. For me, this is one of the most important technologies that you can have in your SUV, and you can only get it in a Kia. I think a Hyundai as well, but they're the same company anyway. So in terms of driving, fantastic. It's a very straightforward car, right? And you can, if you want to accelerate hard, 176 PS, 265 Newton meters, power is delivered very linearly. You know, there's some cars out there that take a while to decide which gear they need to drop down to, which gear they should be in, and all that jazz. But not here. Just simple, straightforward car. And that's what you want in an SUV, right? You want a car that takes you places, and a car that keeps you safe. So all these little things matter. And I think the Kia Sportage, you see, like right now there's a motorcycle on the left, and I need to give him a lot of space, and I just accelerate. The twin clutch gearbox just downshifts very nicely, and now I need to take this corner. I just brake a little bit late, let the body roll, let the suspension sit, and brilliant. No dramas, man. That is the beauty of a properly thought out, properly laid out suspension and a good powertrain. So these are things where the Kia Sportage delivers really, really well. And we might take this for granted, but I suggest that you drive the car and you might understand what I mean. For me, I really like it. So 188,000 ringgit for the Kia Sportage 1.6 litre turbocharged variant. I think it's quite normal. It's a very normal pricing. Cars of this segment, they deliver everything just as you want it to be. You're not lacking anything, and that's why I think the Kia Sportage is a very safe decision. And as I was saying earlier while I was driving, you get a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty together with a service package, which is as straightforward as it gets. Some cars out there offer you multiple year warranties, but there's always a catch in the fine print. Not with the Sportage. It's just as straightforward as it gets. And that's why I think that for 188,000 ringgit, I think the Kia Sportage 1.6 litre variant is a very safe choice. Thank you for watching, guys. Do consider subscribing.